Hello there. I'm Nadine Nicholson,
And I'm Derek Nicholson.
and we are the co-founders of Ascend Leadership Co. And welcome to this training on time leadership. Our intention in this training is to help you get more clarity on your time habits, to help you see where you can, get some ideas, some thoughts about what will help you make more time, create more time freedom. So if you haven't already, we suggest that you download the worksheet that goes along with this training so that you can follow along and you can take down some notes as we go. And you're going to find that we will be looking down from time to time. Naturally, we have some important notes that we've written that we want to make sure we get across for you. And as we go through the training, we'll be asking you some questions for you to reflect on. And each time we do that, we're going to suggest that you pause the video so that you can take some time to write down some thoughts and then start up the video again. All right. So you may or may not know us. This might be the first time that you're meeting us. So we're going to tell you a bit about Ascend Leadership Co. and also a bit about ourselves, and then we'll dive right into the training. All right. So Ascend Leadership Co. is a premier coaching company dedicated to helping powerhouse entrepreneurs, founders, and CEOs become more productive, present, and powerful leaders. Using our signature time leadership method, we help clients get out of the middle zone of time stress, time guilt, business resentment, and just overall the feeling of being, stuck when it comes to time, and then go to the place of redesigning their calendar, taking back their time, reorganizing their operations with the goal of taking their life back, their health back, enjoying their work again, and feeling wildly accomplished both inside their business and outside of their business. So if balance has felt out of reach for you, if time management strategies haven't worked and have been frustrating, and you've been wondering how to reclaim your time, your precious personal life, your dreams that you've been putting on the back burner, so that you're ultimately feeling less stretched, more connected, more confident, more in control, well, you are in the right place.
Absolutely.
So welcome.
Yeah.
All right. So we are your guides to impossible time freedom. Now, what's impossible time freedom? It's something we live and breathe every day.
Absolutely.
It's something that we live ourselves and we teach our clients to do as well.
Yeah. So what's cool is time freedom is not impossible. It is a possibility. And that's exactly what we help people do, is create it.
The definition of impossible time freedom is where you are able to live a life that is impossible to regret. You take those some daydreams off the back burner and you bring them right to the center of your life and of your business. This is about creating a level of time freedom where there is space for rest, relationships, adventure, travel, your personal life, your health, your well-being, so that you have those things both inside and outside of your business. You have spaciousness. You have flexibility with your calendar. You're not so pressured anymore. And you have time for your personal life. You have time to grow, to succeed in your personal life without losing an ounce of success that you've worked so hard to create.
Exactly.
To build on this idea, so many entrepreneurs, certainly the ones we work with, have a feeling that they can't have success in both their business and their life at the same time. We call that the zero-sum game. The zero-sum game. It's when we think that if I focus on my business and really grow my business, then I'm going to have to sacrifice my life. And if I focus on growing my life and having a great life and focus on my relationships and my health and adventures and those kinds of things, then I'm going to have to sacrifice my business. So do you see how the zero-sum game is, where when one area grows, the other has to be sacrificed? So really nobody wins. It's a lose-lose situation. And we don't stand for that. We don't believe in that. We believe that's a myth. What we do here at Ascend Leadership Co. is we help you have success in your personal life. We help you have time for your life, your relationships, your health, your well-being, your dreams, without losing an ounce of success in your business. In fact, your business grows because of it. All right.
And you don't have to wait till later. It doesn't have to wait till later. It gets to be
not someday, now. All right. So we're very passionate about this. As you can see, I'm all fired up. I am a redhead, so I do get kind of fiery. And I'm very passionate about the subject, as is Derek. So recently, I don't know about you, and I think that this you can relate to this. Myself, I can write. I'm a writer. In fact, I have a communications background in corporate communications before becoming an entrepreneur. And it's really hard for me to write things for myself. Even it's hard for Derek to write things for himself.
Yeah, I'm terrible writer.
So what we did is we hired a copywriter, an amazing woman in Los Angeles, so skilled. And she helped us by writing our bios. So we are going to introduce each other, and we are actually going to share each other's bio. So Derek is going to share mine first, and then I'll introduce him after, just so you can get to know us a little bit.
And I love actually reading this every time I read it too. So Nadine Nicholson, my business partner and life partner, is a master certified coach. And there's not many of those in the world, and a time expert. But around here, we call her the Chief Possibility Officer and Time Architect. She's the world's leading expert in time leadership and powerful visionary behind the time leadership method. Nadine brings nearly 30 years of experience as an executive in a corporate communications role where she ran teams of 100 plus people, and as an entrepreneur building her own 7-figure coaching business. As a master certified coach with double degrees in PR and psychology and an accredited business communicator, Nadine is a force of nature who calls clients up to their highest potential and helps them to make clear, confident decisions at the speed of light.
Yes, fast.
She's a straight shooting truth teller with a deep connection to nature, particularly our own Bow River here in Calgary, where she visits it regularly. Nadine is a member of the Women's Presidents Organization, a global collective for women presidents of privately held multi-million-dollar companies. She speaks on time leadership, breaking through the middle zone of success and overcoming the trap of the say-do gap, inspiring entrepreneurs all over the world to lead their time in business to make space for what matters most.
Thank you. All right, my turn. I get to introduce this guy here. So we've known each other a very, very long time. We've been married almost 20 years, and we've been in business together for quite a while now. All right, so Derek Nicholson is an internationally trained leadership coach and team and operations expert. But we love to call him the Chief Simplicity Officer and the Team Architect. So where I bring possibility, vision, Derek brings simplicity. Truly the secret weapon behind the time leadership method. I like to think of you as a secret weapon too. Derek brings 30 years of diverse business experience and a successful track record of managing complex organizations, complex operations, leading highly effective teams, and delivering solid business strategy. His experience spans service-based healthcare, energy firms, and entrepreneurial firms, supporting these businesses in building and motivating more efficient teams. Derek is certified in change management and facilitation and has an analytical mind with a gift for simplifying the complex. Don't be surprised by his calm, wisdom, and heart-centered nature. Derek is the stabilizing rock for many of Ascend's clients, including me. He is a stabilizing rock for me as well. He will create a clear path through the confusion with doable tactical solutions for building an empowered team that will take more off your plate so you can reclaim your time. All right, so that's us.
I like that.
Okay, so let's dive into the training. Again, our intention is to help you get instant clarity on your time habits. Make sure you've downloaded that worksheet if you haven't already. And it goes with this video so that you can follow along. We're going to give you a series of questions to uncover more clarity in your time habits. And these relate to both your business and your overall life. We are very, very much holistic time leadership and team leadership coaches. We focus on your entire life, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your loved ones, your business, and your team. All right, so for each question, we're going to suggest that you pause the video. We're also so that you can write down some thoughts. We're also going to give you some suggestions or some things that we often hear when we ask these questions, just so we can get your thoughts going and have you have the opportunity to relate to what some other entrepreneurs are thinking when they are asked these questions. All right, let's go.
All right, ready to jump in?
Let's go.
Awesome. All right, question number 1. What would you say are your top motivating factors behind being in business? Why do you do what you do? For some of our clients, it's autonomy and independence, leadership, creating jobs for others. For some, it's having freedom with their finances, never having to ask permission or ask for time off for a vacation, to actually purposely build a legacy maybe for the people who are going to take the business over after them. So what are your reasons for being in business? You can pause it now and jot some things down.
All right, pause the video.
Welcome back. On to question number 2.
Well, be curious as to what you came up with for that first one. So the next question, there's actually 5 questions in total, and then one of the questions has some bonus questions in it. So number 2, what are your top 2 challenges with time? Now, these questions are actually listed on your worksheet. So what are your top 2 challenges with time? We want you to get really specific. Okay, so here are some examples of some things that we've heard from other entrepreneurs. Top 2 challenges. So things like time stress, time guilt, and burnout. What is the definition of time guilt? It's something that comes up all the time with entrepreneurs. So I thought I'd pause on this one for a moment. It's when you have turmoil, you feel inner conflict or turmoil between what you are doing and what you believe you should be doing, right? So if you're working in your business, perhaps you think you should be with your family. If you're with your family, you think you should be with, working on your business. You're listening to this training, you could be thinking that you should be doing something else. It's where you are, shooting on yourself that you should be doing something else. Okay. Other challenges: constant state of doing, rushing, pushing, giving, catching up, working harder to get ahead. Can you relate to any of that? Right? Feeling drained, overworked, burned out, spread too thin, wearing too many hats, being pulled in multiple directions, buried under your to-do list. Some of the other challenges that come up are resentment. So when we have any kind of feeling of resenting our business or even resenting our clients at times, that can come up. What that is a sign of typically is that we're stepping over ourselves and we're sacrificing ourselves and putting ourselves last. And that often creates a feeling of resentment. Ability to turn off work, being chained to the business, sacrificing our health, lack of me time. Maybe it even feels impossible to take time off without paying a price. All right. So those are just some examples to get you going. You may relate to some of them, maybe all of them, maybe none of them. But what are your 2 top challenges with time? All right. Pause the video. And then when you're ready, come on back and press play. All right. Welcome back. So I'd like to share with you, I feel inspired to share with you a a little bit about one of our clients. We'll share some examples of some of our clients. And Julie is actually, we typically work with a lot of service-based businesses. Not all service-based, sometimes they have products, but typically they're service-based. And this person is a copywriter. She writes really high quality copy for 8 and 9 figure business owners. So Julie said this. So she wrote her own quote. So, I can't take credit for it. She said, Nadine and Derek took a love machete to my calendar, digging into the nitty gritty details to help me cut out all the clutter, build efficiency into my schedule, pare down my working hours from 60 plus a week to 32 hours a week. I've been working with Ascend for less than 30 days, and I have a clear plan to quadruple my revenue, hire up, and manage my time in a way that feels luxurious and spacious. It's like the weight of the world is lifted off my shoulders. I am now making 4 times the income in half the working hours with a spacious calendar. So that's Julie. We loved working with her, and she was absolutely ready for time freedom. Time had eluded her for years, and she really, with our help, really, it made a huge difference for her.
Yeah, and who wouldn't want those outcomes?
Yeah. All right.
All right, so let's get into the next question. Question number 3. In times when your work and life feel out of balance and you are overworked, how do you feel about that? What are the feelings that come up for you when you're overworked? Is it anger, resentment, maybe frustrated or impatient, just irritable, maybe hopeless, like it's never going to change, or maybe foggy, that you just can't seem to have clarity with anything?
Yeah.
What are your feelings? And take a moment to write those down, and then we're going to come up to part 2 on this question.
So my invitation before you pause the video here is to really get real with yourself, right? We've been all enthusiastic and energetic here at the beginning of this training because, we really believe in this. We really believe in helping you have success in your business and your personal life at the same time and creating time freedom. But right now, you could be feeling pretty overworked. You could be feeling pretty out of balance. So how do you feel about it? What's that like for you? We want you to get really real about your feelings and what that's like for you. It's frustrating. It's hopeless. You're angry. You're, foggy, whatever it is that Derek suggested here.
Yeah.
What is it for you?
Be totally honest, right? Like no one's watching, because no one is.
Yeah. All right. Pause the video when you're ready, and we'll be here when you're ready to come back. Right. Welcome back again. All right. So what was that like for you? What did you notice as you wrote those things down around, your life being out of balance and what it's like for you? So this question number 3 has a few parts to it, and those are all in your worksheets. The first one's, how do you feel about it? The next one is, what do you typically compromise or put on the back burner first? Okay. So think about that for a second. What do you sacrifice when your life feels out of balance? What do you sacrifice? What do you compromise? What do you put on the back burner? What happens? What is put on the back burner first? So here's some examples of some things we hear often from our clients and from people we talked with. Number 1, myself. For most people, they put themselves on the back burner first. Their own health, their own well-being, their own goals, their own dreams, like their own sense of joy, fulfillment, health, happiness. Other things are promises they've made to themselves. Next level strategic thinking. So not working in the business, but actually working on the business strategically. Close relationships with kids, a spouse, a partner, parents, close friends. Other things are self-care, nutritious cooking, exercise, doctor appointments, typically what happens is what gets sacrificed the most is the self, relationships, those kinds of things, and also progression, growing. So those are some examples. You might relate to them. You might, maybe none of these are true to you. What do you sacrifice or compromise first when your life is out of balance? Take a few moments to write down some thoughts, pause the video, and then when you're done, come back and we'll take you to the next point.
All right, great job. You're doing great. There's a few more here, so let's keep going. So when that happens, how do you try and fix that problem? What are your go-tos? Maybe it's you work harder. You try and just put in a few extra hours because you think it will get better. Maybe you've taken some time management courses and you realize that you don't have time for the actual course itself or to do the work. Maybe you've hired new team members thinking that that's what's going to do it, but you're realizing that without some onboarding or without some additional work, that it's creating more work for you trying to manage your team. Maybe you've tried to take time off, but it backfires because then you're stressed out going away and then you're stressed out coming back. So what do you do to try and fix some of these challenges that you're having?
All right, so to build on this idea, you've identified, right, what you compromise first, what you sacrifice first. Now, when you see that, or when that happens, how do you try to fix the problem? This whole training is about helping you get some more clarity. We have this concept that we teach called wild wisdom. It's your inner wild wisdom. It means your inner knowing, your inner truth. So when you pause the video to reflect on this question, take a few deep breaths and connect in with yourself and reflect for a moment. Look inside and ask yourself, how do I try to fix this problem when I sacrifice these things? What do I try to do about it to fix it? All right. And then write down some thoughts, press play when you're ready to come back, and we will be here for you to keep you going to the next piece. Okay. Welcome back again. All right. So let's move into the last piece of this question number 3 is all about the underlying problem. Okay. So what do you think is the underlying problem or cause of having you in this place, right? So you're sacrificing these things that you've identified. You take these, some steps to fix the problem. What has you there in the first place? What do you believe is the cause or the underlying problem that has you there? All right, so here are some examples of things that we've heard from other entrepreneurs. Not having enough time, multiple competing priorities, feeling distracted, emergencies, fires, having difficulty prioritizing, people leadership, hiring good people, feeling a lack of support. Sometimes for some entrepreneurs, managing people adds more burden instead of less. Fear of what other people will think. This is a big thing that comes up a lot. What will people think of you? Maybe you're feeling you'll look selfish, you look lazy. Maybe you're worried that you're going to let people down. Perhaps the underlying problem, so to speak, or source, that some people often say is that it's themselves. They get in their own way. There's also often a fear of losing what you've built. You've worked so hard to get where you are that there's a worry or a fear of losing what you've built, or feeling you should be better at this by now, or that you should be more productive. So think about what is the underlying, or what could be the underlying source that has you here. What's causing you to be here? All right, so take a few moments to jot down some thoughts, pause the video, and we'll be here when you press play again.
All right, ready for the next one. Let's move on to question number 4. If you could free up 10 hours every week, like 10 full hours every week, totally free, what would you choose to do with that time? That's 10 extra hours. Your fairy godmother is going to give it to you. What would you do with it? Focus more on your health and well-being, maybe? Maybe spend time with family and friends? Maybe spend time out in nature somewhere, or take a real vacation on your own or with family. Maybe have a few more adventures, sports, things like that, or some creative pursuits. What would you do with 10 extra hours every single week?
Now, to build on this thought, we want you to really trust that this could happen. We can have a conversation for 45 or 60 minutes with someone, with an entrepreneur, and we can identify, either of us or both of us together, where they have 10 hours of time where that could be freed up.
We call these time leaks. There's a lot of time leaking out of many entrepreneurs' schedule.
So imagine that it's easy to find the time leaks. Give us the benefit of the doubt on that one. Maybe borrow our belief and trust you can find it. We could help you find it if you'd like our support. And trust that you've just freed up 10 hours of time every week consistently. What would you do with that time? What would you do with that time? All right, pause the video and we'll be back here when you're ready to press play.
All right, how was that to find 10 extra hours a week? Hopefully you got a little energy and some inspiration there.
Yeah, so what did you come up with? What were some ideas of things that you would use that time for? Yeah, curious too. Would love to know. All right. I wish you could tell us right now. All right.
So I'd like to tell you a little client story here about one of our clients, Rochelle, and she was experiencing some real pressure around time. And I'd just like to read to you what she said. So before meeting Derek and Nadine, I was overworked, worn out, and feeling I should just throw in the towel and retire and close her business right down. Nadine and Derek told me things could be different and saw a vision for me that I couldn't. With their help, I now focus on the right things and get the right payoffs. I show up unapologetically with more power and in more control, and I enjoy my business and team more. I'm not sure I'd still be in business if I kept going the way I was. Working with Derek and Nadine pays off more and more every day and every week. In the last year, I took the most vacation time ever, who wouldn't want that, and have my highest revenue year in business at the same time. My business is no longer running my life.
All right.
So that's key, because often entrepreneurs, it seems like the business is running them rather than them running the business.
Can you relate, right? When I hear that incredible, recall, not getting the word out, of the experience that Rochelle had and the transformation that she had. I think about that statement that she made at the end. My business is no longer running my life. My business is no longer running my life. If it wasn't for the support, she would have thrown in the towel and closed down her business. And she has so much passion about what it is she does. I'll always remember when I first talked with her, and we had actually met about 10 years before, and we had a quick, we were having a phone call to connect about something, and she asked me, so what are you and Derek up to these days? And I told her, and she said, she paused for a second and she said, oh my gosh, I need that. Yeah, that's what she said. And when I really reflect on the difference that it made for her and all of the people she's helping because of her business, it's the ripple effect is huge of her taking back her time, her having more vacation, unplugging, and her revenue more than doubled. And she had the highest revenue year of her life. So just, it's so meaningful to think about the ripple effect of what can happen, what's possible when you truly take your health back, you truly take your time back. You focus on your someday dreams now, and everything in your life gets to grow and improve, including your client results, your financial results, and your relationships with your loved ones and yourself. So we're very passionate, as you can tell. All right, we're going to move into the fifth question for this journey of helping you get more clarity in your time habits. The fifth and final question is, what's stopping you from currently using your time to do those things now? Okay, so you've identified you can have 10 hours opened up for yourself. You've identified what could you use that time for. All right, remember Derek said at the beginning in my intro that I'm a truth teller, right? No BS. Really, get down to it. Let's be super honest with yourself here. And I know you've been honest with yourself along the way, and acknowledge you for that. Let's take it another level. Let's amp it up. What's stopping you from doing those things now, from using your time to focus on those things now? All right, so here are some things that some other entrepreneurs say, and maybe you can relate to some or all of these. Number one that we hear the most is themselves. What's stopping them is themselves, that they get in their own way.
Yeah, they realize they're in charge and they're there to make a choice, and they make different choices.
Maybe for you, that could relate to you. Maybe you're worried about what other people will think of you. Maybe you're apprehensive of the time and effort it will take to make changes. You know, the time that it will take to make more time. Maybe you're used to being busy and working so much that you're scared you're going to lose the success that you built. Or, you know, maybe it's just that if you do slow down or pause to make changes, that you're worried that you're going to lose momentum in some way. Maybe you actually don't believe it's possible. Maybe you subscribe to it, you know, really being impossible in your mind. And that, you know, maybe you think that this is as good as it's going to get, that where you are is as good as it's going to get, and you're stuck here. Or maybe you won't know what to do with all that free time. Maybe you think you might be bored if you have 10 hours a week open up.
Or maybe there's something deep in your belief system that you believe that you're supposed to work this hard, and that it's supposed to be difficult, and that you're supposed to sacrifice to grow a business.
And to build on Derek's thought there, I'll give you one more bonus one. This is something we see a lot with entrepreneurs. And it's this idea of hiding out in the business. It's where most entrepreneurs have, you know, are pretty successful. They feel pretty confident. You know, of course, you're going to feel self-doubt sometimes. I mean, we're human, right? But a lot of entrepreneurs feel pretty confident in their skills in business, especially if they've been around for over 5 years. And what can happen is a sense of like actually hiding out in the business, because you can get validation, and, you know, you're competent, and you feel a success of being a high achiever, or, you know, being competent at business. It gives you a lot of validation. It makes you feel good about yourself. And perhaps some of the other areas of your life are harder to face. Maybe your own health, your relationships, or, you know, your dreams, maybe they're harder to face. And so often entrepreneurs will be hiding out in their business and feeling like they're failing at their life, and having, you know, being afraid to face it. So if any of those feel like they resonate with you or relate to you, you know, there are some suggestions that you could write down that really,
Or come up with your own.
and yeah, I would even say, and if any of those relate, then get those. And most importantly, tap into your inner wild wisdom. We call it wild wisdom because often when people are outside, they connect in the wild, so to speak, with their inner nature, with their inner wisdom. Connect in with your inner wisdom. Check in with yourself. And the question again is, why aren't you doing those things now? All right, pause the video, come back and press play when you're ready, and we'll bring this training home. Okay, so way to go. You know, those questions are meant to help you tap into your inner knowing, inner wisdom, to be honest with yourself, to, you know, try to dig deep and get some truth, get some clarity around your time habits. So way to go through those with us. Now, what we're going to do to complete this training is we're going to share one more quick example of one of our clients, and then we're going to share with you an opportunity to meet with us, particularly specifically me, where you'll meet with me for about 45 minutes. This is complimentary. There's no cost to this. And we'll meet live over the phone, and I'll walk you through a process to get even more clarity around how to create more time freedom for yourself. And I'll explain what we're covering in that call in a moment. All right. So this is a client. This is a quote that one of our clients wrote for us. Her name is Lisa. She has a marketing and branding company. And here's what she said. Nadine and Derek cut through the shit and get to the right to the heart of it. Ascend's time leadership is second to none. I am a doer. I will work 20 hours a day if you let me. Nadine and Derek helped me build a system in my calendar, and that really carried me through many years. I will forever be indebted sorry, to them for that time leadership piece, like not having to work 20 hours a day and still being able to accomplish what it needed to be done to grow the company. Being able to focus on things that were more important and cut loose the things that weren't. Now, one of the things for her that was very important was a relationship with her mom. And she wasn't seeing her mom like she wanted to. And she chose and made the courageous and conscious choice to make her mother a priority and focus on her relationship with her mom. Now, she said, this is Lisa again, I was frustrated by all the coaches, she put in quotes, out there who really did not have a clue. Obviously, Ascend is not that. Good thing we're not that.
Totally.
I often say that Nadine and Derek help people by getting in the trenches with them. They cut through the shit and get right to the heart of it. I doubled my revenue, and I now value my time. This was one of the best business decisions I've made. I would not be where I am today without their help. All right, super fun to work with Lisa, and I am so grateful for her thoughts that she shared with us. Yeah. Okay, so let's wrap this up. So if any of these, anything that we've shared, anything that we've done here today, you know, feels familiar to you, you're not alone. We see this all the time with wildly, you know, high performing entrepreneurs. And it's usually because they haven't been taught a different way, a different possibility, a simple possibility of living and working. Most of us weren't. Derek and I certainly weren't, until we needed to experience this ourselves, teach ourselves, and learn from other people so that we could create this time leadership method to help other entrepreneurs be able to create impossible time freedom. So it's not something to feel badly about. Like this, you know, you may feel like you are so-called stuck in the middle zone, that this is all there is. This is not all there is. There's so much more possibility available to you. And we want to be able to open up the clarity for you so you can see what's available for you. So a year from now, things could look wildly different, very different for you. And you could be a true time leader, a powerful time leader, enjoying impossible time freedom. After working with hundreds of clients to help reclaim their time, typically, you know, we're going to share a little bit of the typical results that our clients get. Typically, they're working about half the time, that they were before, half the working hours, while taking back their life and having time for all the things we've talked about: personal life, relationships, adventure, travel, while growing the success of their business. It may seem impossible. Mm-hmm. It really may seem that way to you until it's real.
Yeah.
Feeling lit up is not a reward for success. It's not. feeling lit up is not a reward for success. It's feeling lit up is a critical part of achieving success. So we've given some client results. We've shared this. Here's what our clients typically accomplish by, as a result by working with us. Enjoying control over their time and their business, right? With a sense of accomplishment at the end of each day. Accomplishment. Feeling present in their life without time stress, without time guilt. Enjoying a spacious and flexible calendar. Not feeling pressure. In fact, our tagline in our company is business with breathing room. Business with breathing room. Multiplying their income, working less hours, loving their business again. This is a big passion of Derek's, right? Is to help entrepreneurs love their business again and not feel chained and resentful about their business.
Yeah. And that's, you get into business for a reason, because you want to. You should love it. You get to love it. So,
yeah. Gaining health, feeling better, feeling joyful, more fulfilled. Decisions become easier to make because there's so much more clarity. I mean, we could go on for another 15 minutes about the difference that this makes. What we want to share with you in this moment is simply an invitation to have a call with us. Okay, so let's go right to that. All right, so I'm just gonna flip to ahead and share with you some thoughts on that. All right, so actually, you know what? Before we do that, I just really had my inner wisdom just spoke to me. And my wisdom said to me to share my story with you. You may be wondering why this business exists, or why are these two people, this husband and wife partnership working together? Like, that's not, that could be challenging in and of itself. Why are they so passionate about this subject? Why do they care so much? Okay, so let me do that. I can tell this story at one point in my life. This would have been impossible for me to be able to share with you without completely breaking down. Now I can tell this story in service of you. So in about, I guess, the end of 2008, 2009, I was in a place of burnout, exhaustion, feeling depleted, working really long hours, managing a team of over 100 people, having huge responsibility, lots of pressure, and my health and my well-being and my relationships were really being sacrificed and put on the back burner in the name of work, in the name of business. And around that time, my father, who was a successful entrepreneur, somebody I really looked up to from a business perspective and learned a lot from as an entrepreneur, he was diagnosed with stomach cancer. He was diagnosed at stage 4, which is the most advanced stage of of cancer. And within 3 weeks, 21 days to be exact, he passed away. Now, when he died, he was in palliative care the last couple of days in the hospital room. My 2 sisters and my mom were there. In fact, Derek was also in the room because my mom has so much respect for Derek and your experience in healthcare. He worked many years in the healthcare industry. Very confident in hospitals, very confident advocating for help, for advocating for the patient. He was the rock, the solid rock in that room for my sisters, my mom, and I. That really means a lot. Thank you. And after my dad died, he passed, we're hugging, and I had this feeling to walk back over to him. And what happened next changed the course of my life. Nobody else in the room probably knew this was going on because they were, all in their own experience of grief. I walked over to my dad and he was laying on the bed, and, it was maybe 15 minutes after he passed away. Maybe, I don't even know how long. And I kind of leaned over and I was looking at his face. And what happened next was absolutely profound. I had this feeling of like wind come up into me, this like whoosh, like air. And I heard a message, and that message was, Nadine, you have new life. You have new life. I don't know if the message came from his spirit, my spirit. I don't know where it came from, but it was very, very, very clear that that was what I heard. And up until that moment, I was working myself to the bone. I was putting work ahead of everything, including my health, my well-being, my family, my relationships, all the things that are most precious to me. I wasn't waking up every day trying to do that. I wasn't waking up with the intention, I'm going to, put the things that matter most to me on the back burner and sacrifice them. That's what was happening. I was really stuck. And when I got that message, I made a promise to myself that I would no longer waste a second on what doesn't matter. I would grab hold of my precious life, my time, and I would make the most of this life, not someday, now. Not someday, now. So what happened next is I made some shifts in my time. I prioritized my health. I prioritized my family, my relationships, my well-being, and I designed my time and my work to allow me to be in alignment with what was deeply precious to me. And when that happened, my success in business actually grew because I was rested, I was in alignment, and I was being true to myself. And I became a lot more happy, healthy, joyful, passionate. And this turned into Ascend Leadership Co. This is why we do what we do. This was the start of this business. This was where the time leadership method was born. Right. So anything for you coming up?
No, that's why we're here. That's why we're right here, right now.
Yeah. So if you're curious about how we can help you, I would love to have a 45-minute call with you. Again, this is no cost. This is private. You and I will specifically focus on your life, your business, what's coming up. Here's what we're going to do on this call. We're going to do 3 core things. Number 1, I'm going to guide you to get clarity. The whole intention of this call is clarity. All right. So you're going to rise above your current day-to-day challenges and reality, and you will identify your biggest opportunities, your biggest challenges, and what needs specifically to change. Then we'll identify your highest priority change, one thing that the one that, if addressed first, would make the biggest difference in your calendar, the biggest difference in your business operations, the biggest difference with your team, the biggest difference with your life. Then the last thing we'll do in this clarity call is help you get confident clarity on what's actually possible for you if you choose to solve that challenge and make that change. All right. So the call is designed to deliver value to you. There's no cost to it. The whole intention is clarity. If in that call, the chemistry is there, right? The chemistry is there. You and I will know whether it makes sense to further explore the potential of working together. And if we do, we'll either discuss it then or we'll set up a follow-up call. We'll set up a separate call. Sometimes it makes sense and sometimes it doesn't. and we'll know when we're on that first call together. So together we'll find our way out of the time crunch middle zone so we can help you get out of there and really get to a place of impossible time freedom. Okay, so if that feels like something you want to have with me, I would love to have it with you, have 45 minutes one-on-one with you, then go to this page on our website. The page is ascendleadership.com, ASCEND, leadership.com/call. Choose a time that works for you. Then there'll be a few short questions that I'd love you to just put in a few thoughts to so that we can make the most out of our time together. If for some reason there are no options, usually I make sure there's options added, but if for some reason you go there and there's no options to book, or if there's options that don't work for you, then send me a personal email directly, Nadine@ascendleadership.com, NADINE@ascendleadership.com, and I will respond. Remember, everything is totally confidential, okay? Anything you share. So let's wrap this up and complete this. So, thank you for taking the time to get to know us. Thank you for, getting yourself in there to get some clarity on your time habits. Our intention, our hope, our wish is that you were able to get one thing, at least one thing that helped you today, some kind of clarity, a next step, something that you could do to be able to move your way towards more time freedom in your life and your business. Time is the new wealth. It's very clear that time is far more precious than money. And this is why we're so passionate about it. So this could be another thing on your to-do list, setting up this call, or this could be something that you do so that you can, allow me to partner with you to help you get more clarity and help you get more freedom. And it would be my honor to meet with you for 45 minutes one-on-one. Okay, so that's where we'll leave it today. Thanks again for joining us. Anything you want to say to feel complete?
I am complete.
All right, everybody. We hope to connect with you personally. Have yourself an amazing day and week, and we'll talk soon. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye for now.